Good morning, my brothers and sisters in rocketry. Welcome to the pursuit. It's a beautiful day at the launch complex, but it is too cold for me anyway to launch at the moment. So we're not going to launch today, I don't think, although we will this week. So far I've launched every week in January, and I plan to this week, but not today. Instead, today I have decided to start something new. Well, actually I started last night. Here, let me show you. Last night I decided to 3D print an entire rocket. So I found on Maker World an account that had a sounding rocket called Astra. The account is owned by a group of young men in Europe called Space Eagle, and they do 3D printed rocket designs and science missions. As far as I can tell, they have a pretty nice website. This is their design. I'm printing it in PLA. It's a BT60 tube size, 40.6, 41 millimeter inner diameter, inside diameter. And while I have 3D printed launch lugs designed by other people, I designed my own launch lug and 3D printed it. I've purchased a nose cone that is 3D printed so that I can mount a camera. It's a Cinerock replica. This is the first time I've decided to, or the first time I have printed an entire rocket. This is just one section of the fuselage. Let me show you the fin can and how they connect. Okay, there's the fin can. Here's the first section, and it just has a shoulder there, and it fits right into the groove on the fin can, and there you go. I'll probably add 2 more fuselage sections, and then the nose cone, shoulder, and nose cone. So it'll be a fairly tall rocket, about as tall as this 1990s era Big Bertha with the 3D printed Cinerock nose cone, just to show size demonstration. I'm not going to launch it this way. This rocket, I used the original shot cord, which was about 30 years old, so I've launched it 4 times, but I'm not going to attach a camera to it and trust that shot cord. I may add a different shot cord, but I'm not going to trust the current one. Anyway, back to the 3D printed rocket. It's very thick. It's sturdy. I feel like I'm going to have to put a 29 millimeter motor in it to get any sort of payload and really to get any sort of decent flights out of it, because it is very heavy. I don't think I'm going to print the nose cone in PLA. I think I'm going to print it in PETG or buy a fiberglass nose cone. And as far as motor mounts and centering rings and bulkheads, none of that is included in this file. So you have to kind of know what you're doing when you're building rockets and customize it as you wish. Obviously it's going to need some sort of launch rail or launch rod attachment, so I'll have to consider that as well. But here it is, the beginnings of my first 3D printed rocket. Creators claim it's been launched somewhere in Europe during an event. We'll see. Stick with me. Thanks for subscribing.